Well, look at there. Imagine that, another night working on a Camaro. Well, we're back at it. We're gonna get on this front floor pan and try and figure out where I left off on it and get that thing at least tacked in tonight. So let's see where we left off. So last time I was working on this, I think I pretty much had it fit in here. And it was about ready to cut out this whole bottom part like what I did on this rear one. It's the same process, just a different panel. And then what I learned, how I learned on that last one about cutting that lip, because there's that, there's another channel right across here. And the other one I cut pretty even with that. Well, I'm going to, if I can, if it's not too rusty under there, we'll find out in a minute. But if I can leave that a little bit long and make it to where I can access that weld seam, that's going to help out a ton. So this back one, I'm glad I did it. It was simple, and I learned a little bit from it, and now I know kind of what not to do on this front one, or just how with this car it works a little better. But yeah, I think I can pull this panel out, and we'll just kind of look at the floor. Everything's all marked. I already went around with the paint pen the other day when we were working on it. So I can pull it out, and then once I cut all that material out of the bottom, it's going to sink a little bit, and it'll be exactly like the one we did in the rear. We'll line up this edge, and then the body, well, it's sitting there, that line, but I had this line marked for the height on that side. That'll set a height there. The front will kind of do its own thing. But yeah, that'll kind of determine where we're going to end up cutting across here and across the top. So I'm going to get the bulk of the center section moved out of here, and we'll see what we have. So I went ahead and kind of traced a line around where I think I'm going to trim it up to. This is all up into good metal. That gets rid of all the rust and everything. There is a couple pinholes right along that edge that I'd like to creep on, and I don't know. I'm going to leave it a little long. I'm going to see how it welds, but I may end up having to notch in underneath the seat here a little bit. But yeah, we'll kind of see how that goes when we get there. But for now, I'm going to cut this whole center section out and get this pan set in to see where it sits and where it's happy. That is what's left of the floor pan. So now we got a great big hole in here. But yeah, I'm going to blow all this dirt out of here and grind everything up. I got this edge along here. I got to get this. This is a pinch weld. So I'm going to clean all that up, get that pinch weld, all the spot welds broke free on that. Get it cleaned up so my new panel can slide down in there. And yeah, once this is all cleaned up, we can fit the new panel in and just see how she sits. Well, you can never do a job without having a few surprises, so not that I'm surprised. But this torque box, this very lip, this is just some stuff I ground, but that's hole, little hole there. So it's solid over here. I jammed a screwdriver around pretty hard on it. Feels pretty good. So I'm going to cut this little corner and just kind of patch that in just for peace of mind. Alright, so I went ahead and got that notched out, and I've got this little piece that's going to sit right in there. I'll get that welded in. And while I was doing that, I cleaned up this whole pinch weld seam here. So that's kind of prepped, and I had this out of the way, so that kind of worked out. So yeah, I'm going to go ahead and get this thing welded in real quick. Well, we got that welded in there, and I'll just dust her off with a grinder real quick and move on to the next step. Alright, so I just kind of did a little, kind of a cleanup on everything, just real quick, just to get the burrs and boogers out of the way. But now, we'll see how this thing fits. So it's sitting. So right now it's still kind of floating, and kind of what I'm seeing up here is it's like this corner where it transitions up is almost too high up, like the pan is too far forward. So I think I'm going to trim a little bit off the back. Actually, I see I got a little bit of a gap here, so it's just in there a little bit kind of crooked or the way I cut that off. So this is all touching on this back part here, so I'm going to nip that off and just slowly work it back and see if it'll slide in. And Not that these are like usually very close, but this, it looks like it could go back a 1/4 inch and that would line this up with the factory seam there. So yeah, I think my best bet, yeah, I'm gonna just nip probably a 1/4 inch off this back lip and just see what happens. Alrighty, so I cut that back lip off. That helped quite a bit. This lip's line up. I think I could still go maybe an 1/8 inch more, but this front part, it's seated now. It's pretty much down. This little weird corner in here is kind of doing something goofy. But yeah, it's like it's got a little spring to it, but you can, I don't know if you can see it in the camera, but that is my floor height right there with that orange paint pen. I don't know, let's see. Yeah, right here is my orange paint pen where my floor height was, and it's just got just a tiny bit of spring in it, but it's pretty much at the height, so that helped a ton. So I think this back edge, it looks like kind of just right in here. It's got a little gap there, it's touching here, and just a little bit of a gap up here. So I think if I just dust that little bit, that'll let that come back that little bit I need. And I think it's pretty close. So let's go ahead and dust that off and see what happens. Well, I think that made all the difference in the world. Now it's sitting in there nice. I think where it curves up here, like this might be just a little bit wider in this area. So it's got just a tiny bit of spring to it, which will be good once I cut this line here. That's going to make it want to spring in under and give me a nice seam right across there. But that line looks really good. My height, I think we're pretty close to that. I see the lines right up in here. So it's as good as it needs to be. So yeah, I can actually cut, so it's cut off underneath this here. So I can trim most all this down and start getting in close and get that cut off. And same thing over here, I can climb underneath and it's cut off somewhere along in here. So I can get rid of all that top material also. And yeah, I think we're getting real close, but I think I'm gonna try and call it a night. Yeah, hopefully I can get a little more sleep than I did last night. So but I think this is a good finishing point for tonight. Yeah, it's I should wrap this thing up tomorrow and we'll have front and rear pans. Yeah, then on to this wiring. So yeah, now I'm not looking forward to that, but anyway, good progress tonight. Well, we made a little more progress tonight. So yeah, we're pretty close now. I should be able to wrap that up tomorrow and that'll be done. And then I pretty much hope for the rest of the week to get this wiring figured out, get my seats mounted, some seat belts in it, and by the weekend, hopefully I can put a few miles on this thing. So I got this weekend, and then next Friday we're gonna go to a little show and kind of a car cruise. So it's kind of mine and my buddy's debut of these cars, and yeah, people are either going to throw eggs at us or they're going to like them. I don't know, but but we're going to find out. So but yeah, I'm whittling things down on the list, and yeah, another good night, and as with that, good night.